Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez, here to help you make sense of everything going on in the Magic story. Today, we're looking at Chronicle of Bolas, Things Unseen. It's the third episode of an 8-part saga leading up to Core Set 2019. A dragon is currently standing in front of our heroes, which includes Yasova Dragonclaw, her twin granddaughters, and Taejin the Wandering Monk. The dragon's there to kill Taejin specifically, and Naiva thinks that her grandmother's just gonna let this happen because she's always bowed to the will of the dragons. Ho-ho, but no, you don't get to be the clan mother of the teamer without being vicious and wise in a way that only a grandma can be. Yasova gives the signal to kill the dragon, and everyone springs into action. Baisha uses her magic again to move a boulder and shield Taejin as the rest of them kill the Avon translator who's with them and then dive to cover. It's a good start, but they're still fighting for their lives against the dragon, so things don't look great until another dragon shows up. The Atarka dragon that had been kind of lazily following our heroes suddenly decides that an Ojutai dragon this far from home base is easy pickings. So he swoops in there, and then you got two dragons like, get you, like that. The humans abandon their ringside seats for this and keep moving on their trek towards Ugin's tomb, leaving the dragons fighting behind them. Dragons fighting, that's like what Magic's all about. I have a pretty good dragon deck myself, actually. What? Oh, sorry, back to the story. So the group is walking and they realize Taejin never finished his story because he got interrupted by dragons last time. So he picks up where he left off, talking about Ugin and Nicol Bolas. Now, Bolas had just left the human settlement where he was hanging out with Ugin and Arcades Sabbath. Ugin decides to follow him, and he figures the only place he could go, logically, is the place of their twin birth. It's a long flight for Ugin, and he's kind of bothered he has to do it alone. This is the first time since his birth that he's really experienced solitude. In his loneliness, he develops an appreciation for all the other living things as he flies overhead. He once again confronts his own mortality as he realizes how easy it would be for every tree and bird to just get snuffed out. Life and death weigh heavily on the mind of young Ugin. He eventually decides a dragon wouldn't be killed quite as easily as anything else, and he comes to realize every living thing has its place, no matter how small. I have to inject a little sidebar here because this is important for understanding Ugin as a whole. The guy's full of mysteries, as I've said before, but one thing we do know for sure is that he elected to imprison the Eldrazi on Zendikar rather than destroy them outright. Even when they were later released, he told Jace and the rest of the Gatewatch not to try and kill them because even he couldn't be sure what that would mean for the rest of the multiverse. Of course, nobody listens, and Chandra burns those spaghetti monsters to the ground, but that is a story for another time. Anyway, back to the thing. Ugin eventually catches up to Nicol Bolas, and he finds that he's being chased by Vevictus's Mahdi. At first, Ugin is paralyzed by fear. He doesn't want to fight a bigger dragon. But then he cleverly uses some magic as a distraction, and he's able to slip right past him. Nicol Bolas is amused by this and mentions that he's picked up a few tricks of his own, but he doesn't really tell Ugin what that means. So the two of them just continue to fly on towards the mountain that is the landmark of their birthplace. They get there and discover that humans have built camps all over the mountainside. They've put forts up, they've armed them with giant ballista, which is like a type of really big crossbow, and they kind of fancy themselves as dragon hunters. Ugin and Nicol Bolas are horrified to see dragon skulls and bones used as decorations within the camp. And while they're like taking all that in, the humans get a really cheap shot in with their ballista and hit Ugin. So the two fly away higher up the mountain to kind of rest for a minute and lick their wounds. Ugin says maybe they should consider a retreat, but Nicol Bolas seems really excited that the humans are going to press the attack. It seems that he wants to show off whatever new trick he's learned, presumably some sort of mind control. I think his plan is just to turn the humans against each other. But before we can find out, Taejin's story is interrupted once again by the arrival of a dragon. The Atarka dragon from before has caught back up to the group, and now he's coming for Taejin because the Ojutai dragon told him what Taejin was, a dragon killer. Well, Taejin wastes no time living up to that name. He summons a ghost fire blade and uses it to eviscerate the Atarka dragon, while Baisha holds it in place with another bit of magic, and Naiva drives her spear right into its eyeball. Then they all walk away in slow motion, and they don't look back as the dragon explodes behind them. No, that doesn't really happen. No, I'm just kidding. Yasova confronts Taijin and says, "You lied to us. The Ghostfire warriors were supposed to have all been wiped out when Shu Yun gave them up to Ojutai to save his own people." So how did Taijin learn to summon weapons out of nothing, and what are his true motives for reaching the tomb of Ugin with Yasova and the rest of her group? We'll have to wait to find out, because that is the end of the story. If you're enjoying Magic Arcanum as much as I am, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode. That's it for today though. Thanks for watching. See you next time.